The edge of the visible world. At first glance, this old illustration seems almost ordinary. A sun hanging over the horizon, a sky stitched with stars, and a quiet little town resting under it all. It looks simple, familiar, almost comforting. But take a closer step, because the real story begins where the image starts to feel strange. Down at the very edge, a lone traveler reaches forward, pulls back the curtain of the world, and peers into a reality completely different from the one we think we know. This engraving, drawn in 1888, isn't just a picture, it's a message left behind, a soft whisper from the past. Reality isn't always what it appears to be, and maybe it's inviting us to look beyond the surface, just like that traveler. Opening thought. Every new morning begins with the same quiet belief that the world is right there, solid, unmoving, and unquestionably real. The coffee cup waiting on the table, the pale light slipping through the curtains, the trembling sound of birds disappearing into the distance. We trust all of it without hesitation, almost as if we were trained to. But what if the world we call real is only a reflection, a carefully crafted copy? What if everything we experience is just a model, a version of reality built inside our own mind? Section 1. The neural storm that calls itself you. When you look in the mirror, you see a body. Your face, your expression, your personality staring back at you. But the face, the body, the personality, none of them reveal your true self. Your real identity is a vast electrical storm. Billions of neurons firing at the same moment, whispering in the darkness and creating the shadow of a self. The body is only an envelope. The real you is the neural network inside, a web made of countless connections. Every vibration that moves your existence, every thought wandering through the dark halls of your mind, every memory rising out of its shadows, all of them flow from that silent, shifting rhythm of electricity. Section 2. The electrical mirage we call the world. How does this fragile web of electricity shape the world you believe you live in? By turning every flicker of energy into something meaningful. Color is nothing more than your brain interpreting the frequencies of light. Sound is simply the brain's translation of vibrations traveling through the air. Taste, touch, warmth, pain, all of them are dark electric signals rushing through your nerves. Even the feeling of touch is a carefully crafted illusion. On the atomic level, nothing ever actually touches anything. What you think you're feeling is a sensory construction your mind creates for you. The world appears perfectly real because your brain builds that illusion with absolute precision. Section 3. The shared hallucination we call reality. Truth rarely reaches you in its pure form. What you see is not the world as it truly is, but the version your brain believes is close enough. It quietly fills the empty spaces. It smooths out the mismatched pieces. It draws invisible lines to hold your reality together. A fake sense of depth hidden behind a flat image. A movement invented by the mind where nothing actually moves. Patterns that appear in the silence of absence. So if reality is built on the predictions of your own brain, then how much of your reality is nothing more than a vast shared hallucination we all create together? Section 4. The immense reality hidden from your eyes. Our vision is nothing more than a tiny window into the vast spectrum of light, a narrow band squeezed between ultraviolet and infrared, a thin path of brightness we mistake for the whole picture. The universe is overflowing with colors that simply do not exist for your eyes, even though they are very much there. And what about hearing? Another quiet trick played on us. Our ears are bound to the mind with even tighter chains. Nearly 98% of the frequencies vibrating through the universe reach us as absolute silence. Science tells us the air is filled with countless waves and tremors, yet the human ear perceives only a tiny fraction of them. The reality we think we're experiencing is just a small slice of a massive cosmic electromagnetic spectrum. Section 5. Every creature lives in its own universe. The UV patterns hidden on the surface of flowers turn into a glowing map in the eyes of a bee. Where we see nothing but darkness, snakes read the world as a landscape of heat. Where we sense only emptiness, dogs see an entire universe woven from scent. And birds feel the invisible magnetic currents flowing around the earth. Every living creature creates its own universe, shaped only by the limits of its perception. Biologist Jacob von Uexküll called this unseen world Umwelt, the private, enclosed reality each organism lives inside. The reality you experience is not the whole of reality. It is only a version, filtered, shaped, and sculpted by your senses. Section 6. A different reality behind every pair of eyes. And even among humans, reality is never fixed. Each mind shapes its own version of the world. For some eyes, parts of the color spectrum are nothing but darkness. And then there are those rare minds where colors are heard and sounds turn into tastes. A remarkable condition known as synesthesia. Pain strikes some people harder, deeper, sharper, while in others, pain feels almost muted, as if someone turned the volume all the way down. Truth does not wear a single face. It shifts and transforms, taking a different shape in every pair of eyes that looks at it. Section 7. The worlds your mind builds in the dark. But right here is where the real strangeness begins. The point where the foundations of reality start to crack. The mind doesn't need the outside world to receive truth. It can generate it from within. Dreams are proof of this. Even when the outside world falls silent, your inner world bursts with colors, sounds, and emotions. In the middle of absolute nothingness, your brain can rebuild an entire reality from the ground up. So the mind is left with a troubling question. If your brain can create such vivid worlds out of darkness, how can you be sure that the world you're in right now is any different from a dream? Section 8. Where matter fails to explain the mind. All of this questioning leads us back to the one massive mystery humanity still hasn't solved. What is consciousness? How do tiny chemical sparks in the brain create the taste of chocolate, the weight of sadness, or the very feeling of the color red? We understand the machinery, the cells, the signals, the electrical storms, yet the birth of conscious experience remains an unexplained shadow. Neuroscientist Donald Hoffman summarizes this enigma simply. No one has been able to build the bridge between neural activity and conscious experience. To him, consciousness may not be something that matter produces, but the very force from which matter itself arises. Section 9. The hidden architect behind reality. Max Planck, the architect of quantum theory, left behind a sentence that echoed through history. At the root of the universe lies consciousness. Matter is merely its reflection. And the deeper meaning is this: reality is born from consciousness. Without consciousness, reality has no meaning at all. But not everyone agrees. Other theories step onto the stage as well. Some claim that the mind doesn't simply perceive the universe, it constructs it from the ground up. And what if even space and time are not what we believe them to be? What if they aren't fixed at all, but simply patterns of perception, structures our mind imposes on the chaos? Not the essence of reality, but the footprints of a world our consciousness builds. Section 10. The timeless puzzle of what is real. These ideas have appeared throughout history, each time in a different form. Plato's famous allegory of the cave, Zhuangzi's timeless thought experiment about dreaming he was a butterfly, and in our modern age, the simulation hypothesis popularized by the Matrix. All of these perspectives circle back to the same fundamental question: is what we call experience a physical reality, or a story crafted by the brain itself? Section 11. The universe that changes under your gaze. When quantum physics enters the stage, reality becomes even harder to hold on to. Particles drift like a vague, unfinished poem until the moment a conscious gaze turns toward them. They exist only as possibilities, not as matter. But the instant you look, the uncertainty collapses, and they are born into a definite form. Observation itself can change the fate of reality. The famous double-slit experiment proves this. When unobserved, electrons spread out like waves, behaving as a field of pure probability. But the moment your eyes or your instruments catch them in the act, they lose their wave nature and snap into particles. As if nature can somehow feel the weight of your attention. Section 12. Where reality splits into countless worlds. Researchers are still searching for the truth behind this astonishing behavior of nature. The Copenhagen interpretation says this: reality awakens only when it is observed. Another view suggests that the universe splits every time a measurement is made, each possibility unfolding in a different world. In one of those parallel universes, you are the one watching this video. In another, you're moving through a completely different destiny. And in some realities, you never stepped onto the stage at all. Perhaps reality is far more layered than we ever imagined. A vast cosmos where countless alternate worlds intersect and overlap. Section 13. The hidden 95% of reality. And here lies the truth that challenges the human mind more than anything else. All the splendor of the cosmos, every star, every galaxy, every cluster of matter, makes up only 5% of the universe. So what about the remaining 95%? The invisible darkness, the untouchable matter, the unfathomable energy we still cannot define. We live at the heart of a mystery, and even that mystery may be only a fragment of something far greater. Section 14. Fragments of one universal mind. If consciousness is what shapes reality, and all of humanity shares the same stage, then perhaps individual minds are fragments of a much greater awareness. Could it be that our minds, somewhere deep within existence, are connected through a single field of collective consciousness? Section 15. When your gaze reshapes the universe. According to quantum physics, the observer is not just a spectator, but an active force that shapes reality itself. The very act of observing changes the behavior of particles at their core. These trembling particles form the essence of atoms, and atoms are the building blocks of everything in the universe. The cosmos shifts its form under the power of your attention, and by the same physical principles, the universe shapes you as well. Section 16. The reality that rewrites itself. According to some theories, reality isn't a fixed structure at all, but a shifting system shaped and reshaped through observation. In this view, reality is like a story that rewrites itself moment by moment. A process, a flow, a meeting point where light and shadow, mind and mystery intertwine. Section 17. The moment reality meets your mind. The next time you find yourself watching nature, ask yourself this: that tree you're looking at, is it truly a fragment of the cosmos, or just a reflection of your own consciousness? And what if that image is nothing more than an illusion taking shape inside your mind, the moment you and that tree cross paths? Is it really a coincidence? What if every experience you have is a piece of a much larger story? Philosophy asks a timeless question: does meaning exist out there in the world, or is it something the human mind creates? Section 18. The mind that touches the universe. If the mind can create entire worlds in the darkness of night, if it can shape and interpret reality in its own mysterious way, and even brush against the hidden stage of the quantum world, then perhaps the thoughts that rush through you like wind are quietly influencing much deeper layers of your existence. Your perspective might act like a magnet, drawing certain experiences toward you, not through magic, but through the profound interaction between consciousness and the fundamental fabric of reality. Section 19. The prayer that became a journey. There was once a man who whispered the same words to the sky every day: "Give me patience." Life heard his prayer, but it didn't hand him patience. Instead, it sent him the hardships that would shape patience within him. When he cried out, "Why this fate?" the universe answered, "You asked for patience, but patience is not a gift, it is a journey. So I placed that journey before you." Be mindful of what you ask for. The universe teaches our wishes through the paths it lays in front of us. Conclusion: the grand mystery. Truth may be a structure far too deep for the human mind to fully reach, not because we are foolish, but because reality is woven from the very same fabric as our own consciousness. Truth bends under our gaze, and in return it leaves its mark on the mind. A mutual exchange, a two-way interaction where the thing we call life slowly gains meaning. With every insight the mind uncovers, the veil of reality lifts just a little more, revealing the cosmic secrets that have been waiting for you across the corridors of time. Thank you for joining this journey through the great questions of existence. If this video opened new doors in your mind, share it and walk with us as we continue peeling back the hidden layers of reality together. If this discovery resonated with you, share it and become part of our circle. The path is only just beginning, because science and philosophy whisper the same timeless truth. To understand reality, you must first understand yourself.